America builds the world's most advanced fighter, the F-35, at more than $100 million per jet. But China can field a J-10C for less than a third of that, and may have accelerated its own designs with terabytes of stolen F-35 blueprints. If a $30 million jet loaded with a $1 million missile can destroy a $100 million fighter, Pentagon planners face a question no one wants to answer. Does it matter if you have the best, if you can't build enough? The full stakes begin with the numbers. The arithmetic behind modern air power keeps Pentagon officials awake at night. The F-35 Lightning II, centerpiece of America's fighter fleet, comes in at an average procurement cost of about $100 million per jet. That figure does not include the $1.6 trillion the US Government Accountability Office projects for lifetime sustainment, fuel, spare parts, software, and pilot training. In contrast, China's J-10C can be built for roughly $30 to $50 million per aircraft, while the newer J-35 stealth fighter is estimated at $55 to $70 million per unit. For the price of a single F-35, China could field at least 2 J-35s or 3 J-10Cs, with money left over for munitions. This is not just a spreadsheet exercise. In a congressional hearing, a senior Pentagon acquisition official put it bluntly, if we lose fighters faster than we can replace them, it does not matter how advanced they are. The US relies on a single final assembly line in Fort Worth, Texas, producing around 150 F-35s per year. Meanwhile, China's factories are scaling up, with multiple lines for J-10Cs and a new mega-factory for J-35s, aiming for an annual output that could soon surpass American rates. The result is a growing replacement rate dilemma. At $100 million each, every F-35 lost to combat or accident is a strategic and financial blow. Cheaper Chinese jets can be replaced faster and in greater numbers, even if they are not as advanced. The question haunting Pentagon planners is not just about who makes the best fighter, it is about who can afford to lose them and keep fighting. In 2007, Lockheed Martin's F-35 program suffered a breach that would ripple across the next decade of global air power. Hackers operating out of China quietly siphoned off terabytes of sensitive design data, enough information, according to US officials, to fill millions of pages. The Wall Street Journal broke the story years later, confirming that the stolen files included stealth shaping, radar signatures, electronic warfare systems, and engine blueprints. Lockheed's security teams scrambled to assess the damage, while Pentagon officials downplayed the breach in public, insisting no classified data was lost. Yet behind closed doors, defense analysts saw the implications. China's engineers now had access to the F-35's aerodynamic secrets, advanced coatings, and avionics architecture without spending years or billions in trial and error. Analysts estimate the breach cut 2 to 3 years off China's stealth fighter development timeline. The cost savings are harder to pin down, but some put the reduction in research and development costs at 15 to 20%, a figure that translates to billions of dollars. Instead of starting from scratch, Chinese designers could leapfrog straight to advanced prototypes. The J-31, later rebranded as the J-35, rolled out in 2014 with a twin-tail silhouette and internal weapons bays that bore a striking resemblance to the F-35. The US Department of Defense briefings quietly acknowledged the link, noting that China's accelerated progress in fifth-generation fighters was no coincidence. The breach did not just save money, it gave China the confidence to invest in mass production, knowing their designs would work. The next phase would see these fighters move from blueprints to assembly lines at a pace that US contractors struggled to match. Rows of J-10C fighters lined up wingtip to wingtip on concrete have become a common sight in satellite images of Chinese airbases. Chengdu Aircraft Industry Group, the J-10's builder, has ramped up production so sharply that analysts now estimate as many as 80 to 100 new J-10Cs could roll off the lines each year. This is not a stealth jet, but a 4.5-generation multi-role fighter designed for mass deployment and rapid replacement. The J-10C's price tag hovers around $30 million to $50 million, less than half the cost of an F-35. For that sum, China fields a platform capable of launching the PL-15, a long-range air-to-air missile that can engage targets at distances up to 300 kilometers. Doctrinally, the J-10C is treated as an attritable asset, numerous, affordable, and always ready to surge in high-tempo operations. Satellite counts regularly show dozens parked at forward bases, underscoring a strategy built on visible mass. In a scenario where replacement speed matters as much as performance, the J-10C's role is clear: fill the skies, saturate the battle space, and make every dollar count. The J-35 stands out as China's answer to the F-35, not just in silhouette, but in ambition. Designed and built by Shenyang Aircraft Corporation, the J-35 first appeared in prototype form in 2014, drawing immediate attention for its twin-tail internal weapons bays and stealth shaping that bore a close resemblance to the American jet. But it's the price and production model that set it apart. At $55 to $70 million per aircraft, the J-35 costs less than half of its US counterparts. In 2024, Chinese state television broadcast footage of the J-35 operating from the deck of the new carrier Fujian, confirming the platform's carrier readiness and signaling a leap in naval air power. With a megafactory in Shenyang ramping up, analysts forecast annual J-35 output could reach 100 units soon, with plans to double that within 5 years. Defense market projections suggest the J-35 could capture up to 20% of the global fifth-generation fighter market by the end of the decade, undercutting the F-35 by tens of millions per sale. Countries from Egypt to Indonesia have shown interest, drawn by the combination of stealth features and a price point previously out of reach. The J-35's arrival on the export scene puts pressure on America's traditional dominance and raises a new question. How long can the US maintain its edge when rivals offer a cheaper, nearly peer-level alternative in bulk? Lockheed Martin's Fort Worth facility stands as the only final assembly line for the F-35, producing between 130 and 156 jets each year. This single-point workflow means every aircraft, regardless of variant, must pass through the same bottleneck, a vulnerability in any conflict that demands rapid replacement. The plant's sophisticated automation and skilled workforce keep output steady, but expansion is slow and expensive, especially with engine deliveries from Pratt & Whitney pacing the entire line. In contrast, China's approach is built for scale and resilience. At Shenyang, a 270,000 square meter megafactory is ramping up to deliver 100 J-35s each year, with plans to double that to 200 within 5 years. Multiple parallel lines across China allow for decentralized production, lowering the risk that a single disruption could halt output. Even with engine development hurdles, the aggregate capacity of Chinese fighter production, including J-10Cs from Chengdu, now matches or exceeds the US F-35 rate. In a war of attrition, the ability to replace lost jets quickly becomes a deciding factor. China's industrial base is structured to keep new aircraft rolling off the line, while America's most advanced fighter depends on a single, irreplaceable plant. China's PL-15 air-to-air missile changes the rules of engagement before jets even see each other. With a reported range of 200 to 300 kilometers, the PL-15 can strike targets far beyond the reach of the United States AIM-120 AMRAAM, which tops out around 160 kilometers in its latest version. The cost difference is just as stark. A PL-15 sells for about $1 million per round, while an AIM-20 can reach $2 million. In practical terms, a J-10C that costs $30 million or a J-35 that costs $55 million, each armed with PL-15s, can threaten a $100 million F-35 from outside its own missile envelope. That range advantage means Chinese pilots can fire first and withdraw, forcing United States jets to defend against attacks they cannot immediately answer. The missile's long reach, paired with mass production, turns good enough platforms into credible threats, multiplying the impact of every dollar spent. Wargame analysts studying a Taiwan conflict face a daunting equation. The People's Liberation Army could bring more than 1,000 combat aircraft to bear in the opening days, launching waves of sorties from dozens of mainland bases. US forces, by contrast, are limited to about 100 fighters at Kadena Air Base on Okinawa, and 40 to 50 jets carried by each available aircraft carrier. In attrition scenarios, Chinese jets can fly 2 or more sorties per day, while US replacements are constrained by distance and production bottlenecks. the numbers tilt the odds. Even with superior aircraft, American forces risk being outpaced and outlasted in a sustained fight over Taiwan. Congress has weighed proposals for a second F-35 assembly line to double output and guard against single-point failure, but funding remains uncertain. The Pentagon's Collaborative Combat Aircraft program aims for autonomous drones priced between $20 million and $30 million each, cheaper than a fighter built for mass production. Plans to stockpile AIM-260 missiles designed to match the range of the PL-15 are underway. The clock is ticking for a decision: outproduce, out-innovate, or risk being outnumbered. Today, Pentagon officials warn that cost, not technology, may decide the next air war. As China turns stolen data and industrial scale into mass production, the real contest is tempo and attrition. In a world of shrinking budgets, the side that can afford to lose may shape the future skies.